Hello there everyone and welcome to another episode of Career Mode. We are here in the Austrian Grand Prix and going into this weekend we have two development failures from downforce and also chassis, I believe, or engine. I'm not entirely sure, it was right there and just a few seconds ago. But yeah, other two got in and those two will be on the car for Britain. Which is going to be the next Grand Prix in Silverstone. So yeah, not everything's lost, but it's a little bit annoying going into a weekend and having two upgrades failing. No. But yeah, we are trying to keep up the form after what was an amazing Grand Prix in France, in Paul Ricard, where we got P1, Kimi got P1 and I got P3. So that was pretty good.
You need to pit in. Your DRS is stuck open. We need you to pit for repairs.
But talking about this, in the second practice session,
the rear wing is stuck open. We need you to pit in so we can try to repair it. Pit in for repairs.
In the second practice session, I had lots of DRS failures. I don't know why the rear wing was just failing absolutely every time I went out on track, so that was very annoying because I couldn't do the qualifying run. But anyway, that's all out of the way. We got all of the points and we're going off to quali.
Thank you for joining us once again for today's qualifying session. Sit back, relax and enjoy what we hope will be a fantastic contest for pole position.
And we're here now in quali. Just like I said, we got all of the points from the practice session, so in the end it wasn't much of an issue, but I was afraid that it might actually happen here in the qualifying session, but fortunately I can tell already that it did not. So we are clear to just do some clean laps and hopefully get to Q2. And after our first run on the mediums, obviously we couldn't get through. It's a very small track, so it's very hard to get away with passing a qualifying session on a harder compound of tire. But we went out again on the soft compound tires and we are obviously definitely going to improve. And as we're going to the line, it's P9 for Q1 and yeah, we end up in P10 while Kimi is in P5, so pretty good job there. And we're both out of qualifying 1 and into qualifying 2. And as you can see, there are two Toro Rossos out, and actually I think Weber once again was able to get out of Q1, but probably not going to get into Q3 most likely. Since, you know, the patch came out a few weeks ago, obviously Williams is not as fast, so it's very unlikely that he'll be able to get through the qualifying 3. Anyway, we are trying to get into qualifying 3, and we're right now in P10. Right at the last possible position to get there, and obviously we had to go out again and just try to do our best. And after the first sector we are up 700,000 hundredths of a second. I'm not sure how you say it, but yeah, we are up by 68 thousandths of a second into the first sector. Going into the end of the second one, we are 3.5 tenths up on our time, so it does look like we're going to get through the Q3. As we're going to the second last corner, pretty nice run there into the last one as well, just trying to go over the curb as much as you can, and we get P7 as you saw there, and Kimi once again getting also into Q3 in P4. All that, also Sergio Perez and Kevin Magnussen from the midfield were able to get to Q3. As you can see there, both Renaults are out as well, so not a good result from them. And as we go through to the end of Q3, I did a first run on the used set of soft tires, just ahead of Sergio Perez, and now we're doing our second run on the fresh soft tires that were given to us in Q3. And right now, up once again in the first sector, going into the third corner, I believe. This is the third one. Not the best run through there, a little bit wide, mounting up the curb a little bit, And yeah, we're up almost 4 tenths at this point, while Lewis Hamilton does the fastest lap, and I believe he will get pole position. We're going to the second last corner. Maybe not the most ambitious corner there, and then the last one wasn't that great as well.
It's a bit disappointing, but we just need to push hard in the race and we can still come away with something.
And after I got P8, since the contract negotiations went sideways and I ended up having to get P7 in qualifying, they consider P8 a bad qualifying run, which is ludicrous. But anyway, we get P8 ahead of Perez and Magnussen, behind Gasly and Raikkonen, who was able to beat Gasly, so pretty encouraging pace there from Raikkonen. Hopefully he'll be able to have a good race. As for us, I mean, the objective is try and get at least 7th place, you know, away from Raikkonen. But if not, you know, the main goal is to just get some points and some good resource points to keep developing the car during this season. And yeah, and the race is going to be on dry conditions, so no rain finally after 3 races in a row with rain. And now we're going to choose our rival, who's going to be Sergio Perez. It just makes sense. We're usually in the same fight with him, so let's go to the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship, except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. We should talk about Alfa Romeo. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Our grid position is not as high as we had hoped, but push hard in the race and hopefully with a bit of luck, we can finish with a positive result.
We will try to push hard. Welcome everyone to the Austrian Grand Prix. We're going for a easy strategy, you know, from the softs to the mediums. They can both last quite a bit in this track, so that's our strategy. Not really much talking about there, so let's go on to the race. 5 red lights, and away we go. A pretty average start. At least we didn't lose any position, so that's pretty good. We go up the inside of Gasly, leaves us absolutely no space, but we keep on going. Try to stay ahead of Magnussen and Perez. I was checking there to see if I had some damage, because, you know, Gasly really turned on me. So yeah, that was great. And here we go, up the inside. Wasn't really expecting this, didn't remember this, but yeah. And we are up a position, just like Raikkonen, who also overtook Vettel. And we are in pretty good position at this point in Grand Prix in the first lap. But going towards the end of the lap, Gasly is having a look up the inside, but we leave no space, and we got our first warning right at the first lap, but hopefully we won't need to do that again. And, you know, now we're already in lap 5, nothing really happened in the first few laps, and now Raikkonen is trying to get over Leclerc and Verstappen, but he's just following them at the moment. I go up the inside of Vettel, and he leaves me once again no space. He just turns on me, even though he left the door open a little bit on the inside, but he leaves absolutely no space, and I have to really brake hard to make sure we don't make any contact. And now Gasly once again looking up the inside, and this time I leave absolutely no space as well. That was really not the best defensive move there. I turned way too early. I didn't really measure how early I turned, and once I did it, I was already thinking I probably gave Gasly some damage. We didn't even touch, but it was very close, and I wouldn't do that again for the rest of the race, I can tell you that much. But going to turn 3, and Gasly is looking up the inside, and this is how I leave space. If AI from F1 2019 is watching, or are watching in this case.
Right, come in at the end of this
And now I'm actually going to pit early and try and do an under. Well, now I don't remember how you say it, but yeah, we're trying to go early and maybe surprise the front running guys. Going into the hards, actually, changing from the softs to changing from the mediums to the hards in our strategy, so that I can run to the end without having any worries about tire wear. And we come out right behind this big battle here with these three guys, Norris, Russell and Weber. Pretty much the two slowest cars at this point. McLaren's not really a slow car. Norris is just having a nightmare of a race. And here I go up the inside. First of Norris, now Russell. And next target is now Lucas Weber. As you can see here, I went up the inside of both. He left no space, but I made my own space. I don't care. And anyway, as we're going to lap 12, we're having a look up the inside of Weber. He leaves the outside open. I go on the outside. I have to actually leave the track, but since I was pretty much already ahead of him, I decided to carry on, and since it was not called an illegal overtake, there you go. And anyway, that is Kimi Raikkonen overtaking either Sebastian Vettel or Leclerc, but I think it is Leclerc because they haven't stopped yet. Anyway, this is me going up the inside of Sainz, and I think Hülkenberg as well. That was pretty audacious move there. Very bold, really. And now I'm having a look up the inside of Albon. And once again, they leave absolutely no space. I'm probably going to check to see if I have any thundering damage. I think I did, but fortunately I have none, and we can carry on up the inside of Albon. And we are through to P13 with our hard compound tires, our second stint. And now we're having a look up the inside of Grosjean. We're going on the inside. He turns way too early for us. He leaves the door open on the inside just enough, but then he turns on us. And once again, the AI this year, they just have absolutely no idea on, you know, how to actually leave some space for the player or for other cars just in general. And yeah, we overtook Butler, who was going to the pits, and we come out just ahead of Pierre Gasly. And I think also Bottas, I think, and one of the Ferraris as well, if I'm not mistaken. And now we are ahead of Vettel, not Vettel, Hamilton. Vettel is ahead of us. Yeah, Hamilton has a look up on the inside, but we brake later and we're able to keep the position. And now Raikkonen is actually fighting with Vettel for P3 at this point. And he's trying actually a move around the outside on the first corner, and he's able to actually overtake him, but going to the straight, Vettel will probably have the inside and take it. And yeah, he actually ended up taking it. And yeah, now Leclerc is having a look up turn 3, and we once again keep the position. But being on the hard tires, it's going to be difficult to keep these guys on the mediums. And even if they were not on the mediums, even if they were on the hards, it would probably still be much faster than us. But I'm just able to keep them behind me. Now I leave the outside to Leclerc, and he brakes very late, but then I don't know, he just didn't. He just didn't start the car, you know. He just lost a lot of momentum going here, and then I pretty much leave him no space because I had to go very much on the inside, so I just couldn't turn any time earlier. And now once again, Leclerc having a look on the inside. I have to have a very bad corner there on the second to last corner. Once again, the same one. This time I have the inside, so it's a little bit easier to defend. But this time Leclerc is actually going on the inside on turn 1, and he has a little bit of a moment there with his tires, but nothing too much. Now we're going back at him on the outside in turn 3, and I ended up braking too late, but still got the position. But Leclerc is still side by side, and he's going to get the position. P5 is now from Leclerc, but I go pretty much, I don't even know, that was just once again very bold there. Maybe a little bit too hard there, but once again the AI, they have absolutely no awareness of where the other cars are, so they just turn on you without even looking, which is a little bit annoying in this game. I would say it's probably the most annoying thing about the AI this year. Anyway, we keep up the fight once again. Leclerc's going on the outside. I keep the position. Squeeze him a little bit to the outside, and I keep the position. And in the end of that lap, Hamilton overtakes Leclerc here on the last corner. He overtakes him, and he's now chasing me, while Leclerc loses another position to Sergio Perez. And yeah, he loses 2 positions in pretty much 2 corners. And now Hamilton is putting the pressure on me, and that's probably even worse. You know, the Mercedes engine is the strongest one, and they just have the overall strongest package at this time of season.
Virtual safety car, virtual safety car. Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta. Okay, slow down, slow down.
And yeah, the safety car ended up happening while Hamilton was trying to make a move on me. Actually, he wasn't trying to make a move, he just kept going much faster and overtook me, but fortunately the game realized that it wasn't his position, and this is Max Verstappen out of the race. He was in P2 fighting for the win, and now this puts Vettel in P2 and my teammate Kimi Raikkonen once again on the podium in P3, meaning that now at this point I just have to make sure that Hamilton doesn't overtake me, just like I had to before, because I pretty much had to make sure that, you know, Kimi was, you know, ahead of me, and at least we would get P4. But now the strategy ends up actually being perfect for us, of me just keeping them behind me. And now Hamilton is going on the inside, all this during the second sector, and he ends up getting the position, gives me a little bit of a touch, and I end up going almost to the grass, and Hamilton is through to P4 and trying to chase my teammate. But yeah, at this point it's probably a bit too late for him to catch him. So I would say that pretty much I wasn't even sure if that was our strategy, but in the end, because I think I went to the hards because the team actually told me to go on the hards, and I ended up covering Raikkonen during the race, which was interesting because that pretty much allowed him to get the podium. So I ended up playing for the team without even realizing it. And anyway, this is the fight with these 3 guys, but Leclerc was able to get away from these 2, and now Gasly and Perez are fighting for what I believe is P6 at this point in the race. No, P7 actually. And yeah, this is the last lap. Hamilton just couldn't catch, or Kimi was too far ahead. And yeah, I go home in P5. Bottas wins the race. Pretty good job from him, getting this win and getting a few more points on Hamilton, which will be precious in his title fight, definitely. And I'm just going for the fastest lap of my race, and in the end it was a pretty positive race. Kimi gets the podium, I get P5, loads of points, 25 points for us, and another strong weekend.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
There we go, Bottas in first place, Vettel in second. They both gain points on Hamilton, and Kimi gets another podium for Alfa Romeo. And we are definitely on our way to the top. We gain points on Red Bull, and it's really another solid weekend for us. I ended up helping Kimi a lot, because if I didn't keep Leclerc and Hamilton behind me, he wouldn't have got P3, that much is true. And Hamilton in the end actually gets a 5-second time penalty for an incident he had with me. And I believe it was his overtake when he overtook me, and after the safety car, the virtual safety car, he overtook me, he gave me a little bit of a touch, and I almost went to the grass. So I believe the game just gave him 5 seconds for that. I think it's the only thing, because overall I don't remember him touching me in any other situation. But yeah, besides that, we're still in P7, Kimi still in P8. Nothing really changed in the championship, in any of the championships. Everything is the same. All of the positions are still the same as they were before, and we're now over 100 points in the championship. I got two warnings for track limits in Hamilton. I got a warning, and I believe it was that touch he had with me. So they gave him a 5-second time penalty, which is crazy. If I knew that, I would have probably pushed a little bit harder to make sure I was within 5 seconds.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. Devon did much better in today's race than he did in qualifying. Were you expecting that?
I wasn't really paying attention to his race, but, you know, whatever.
You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
It wasn't really kind of field, I was mostly just holding position more than anything.
You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret?
Yeah. Great team, great car.
Appreciate your time.
Another interview, another race, and here in our rivalries I lose a little bit to Raikkonen and I win over Sergio Perez. So the rivalries are pretty okay, although I'm already 4 points behind Kimi, but it just takes one race for us, a pretty good race from us, to put us ahead of him. So nothing really too much to worry about in terms of reputation. The reputation with teams are also pretty good. And we are going to invest a little bit more on upgrades. We're not going to attend any invitational events. And I never did one since F1 2017 when they made you do it. And yeah, debrief, pretty good race. I want to go to the upgrades. I don't really want to see the interview. But yeah, as far as upgrades, we're probably going to invest a little bit more on chassis, but since we can only do one of each, it means that we're going to have to invest either on the engine or on durability, and I'm going for durability, if I'm not mistaken, on the MGUH. Exactly, so that part will definitely hold a little bit more. We're going to put all of the older components from the engine, so that we're going to practice one with these and we don't spend the fresher ones. Just make sure we can get to the end of the season with these ones, but I don't believe that will be possible. But anyway, that was the weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed another strong weekend for Alfa Romeo, and hopefully we'll keep up the momentum going to the next race weekend. Anyway, I will see you in the next one.